and welcome back to a special bonus episode of MCU Need to Know, a podcast dedicated to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything you need to know. I'm Trey.
I'm Jude. Let's just start here. In this bonus episode, one of the things we had the idea, hopefully it's a bright idea, is to review trailers as we review the movies. And with our Iron Man review dropping, we're going to go ahead and review these trailers. Now, moving forward, we will say we're going to make sure that we're reviewing the teaser and trailer 1. Maybe trailer 2, but definitely teaser and trailer 1. We're not going to go down the road of all the extra TV spots and all of that promotional type material.
I think that's definitely a good precedent to set, especially because one of the things I notice in trying to prep for this episode is the older the movie, it's a lot harder to find the trailer for it.
You know what? It's out there, but you got to dig a little bit. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, as far as YouTube digging goes, but you got to dig a little bit.
I'm already getting on a tangent here, but do you remember, they still have it, but I guess they don't archive all their trailers. I think it's appletrailers.com. or something like that. Like Apple used to house so many brand new trailers.
That was my favorite app on the iPad for the longest time. I would spend hours watching trailers.
It was like the highest quality and it was the best. And that was like my, like as soon as I was like, man, these are hard to find on YouTube. Like that was the first place I went to. And I think the most recent Iron Man trailer they had was Iron Man 3. So,
well, the thing about it is I would find documentaries and movies that I wouldn't see trailers for otherwise. And so I would find stuff to watch. In fact, there's a movie, I think it's called Fraser Park. I'm going to have to look it up. And I found that trailer on it. I never saw it. I wish I had. Basically, imagine some kind of futuristic, setting, but they battle through Dance Dance Revolution. That's all I got.
Okay. It sounded like you were typing. I thought you were looking for it. I was giving you a pause to insert the name.
Yeah, I'm looking for it, and that might not be the name now. So I will find that correction.
We'll see if we can find it. But yeah, like Jude said, we will be talking about the teaser and the full trailer. So of course, starting with the teaser trailer, I think one of the things I noticed that of the two, I think the teaser trailer is the better of the trailers, specifically looking through the lens of not giving too much away. But even that's being a little generous to that because it still gives a lot of plot details in this teaser one.
Okay, real quick, I found it. It's called the movie's called The FP. Mm-hmm. And I believe the FP stands for Fraser Park. I think that's where I got Fraser Park from.
Nice.
But the movie's The FP.
The FP, cool.
And just real quick, in a post-apocalyptic future, two rival gangs fight for control of Fraser Park by playing Beat Revelation, a deadly version of Dance Dance Revolution.
What are we doing a Marvel podcast for? Why aren't we doing a podcast over this universe?
I know. All right, back to what we should be doing.
So yeah, like I was saying, this teaser trailer, it doesn't give as much away as the full trailer does, but if you look closely, you can still see that turn of Obadiah becoming the villain. It's not as prominent, but yeah, it was kind of shocking.
Yeah, you're right. Like the teaser trailer, in a way, I like the teaser trailer better. Mm-hmm. Just the music, the way it was edited together, but the Obadiah reveal in the trailer, what's titled trailer number 1. First, I didn't remember that, right? In terms of thinking back to 2008, but I was shocked that it was like, wow, they just showed Obadiah. They just did the reveal.
And I think it's that scene where like you can see him looking up and it's kind of the glow off his own suit. So it's not specifically stating it as it does in the full trailer because you actually see him in the suit. But, I mean, it heavily implies, and if you're a more keen and discernible viewer than I am, that's something, you could easily put the pieces together on that.
Yeah. Well, they clearly didn't. Well, two things. A, they clearly weren't worried about content creators on YouTube going frame by frame yet. Mm-hmm. And a buddy of mine at work, Sean, did mention to me about the trailers that you got to figure this is early MCU. And so they not, even if the YouTube creators were doing that, like I don't know if they would have done it, you know? Well, maybe YouTube creators would have, but it's like nobody really knew about Iron Man. Like the Avengers were the B team compared to Spider-Man and the X-Men from Marvel, you know? And so like, it didn't really matter that they threw that stuff in there because not enough people, unless you were the comic book fan, knew who Obadiah Stane was.
I mean, I've said it specifically. You'll hear it in the full episode. I was not looking forward to Iron Man. Like, I went more because my dad and I went to the movies as a way of, like, hanging out, more so than wanting to go see Iron Man. And so, you know, I was part of that, like, oh, who is this? I don't really know much about it. And so I didn't pick up on any of it because obviously the Obadiah reveal was a complete surprise for me.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I did notice in the opening scenes of the movie with the ambush, when he was doing the Jericho missile test, they did have separate, well, they were not separate, but there were shots in the trailers of that was not in the film.
It's always amazing what makes the final cut. Because, I mean, these trailers are cut together most times before the movie's even done. And so what becomes the final scene used in the film doesn't always line up with what we see in the trailer. And we see some of that, too, in the full trailer where there are scenes that are just flat out not even in the movie.
Right.
Coming back to this teaser trailer, though, to me, I think the biggest strength of this trailer is that it focused more on showing Tony's introduction in Afghanistan and his capture and the building of his suit. And we only really get a few shots of the final suit at the end when he's flying with the fighter jets. And it's kind of a lot more reserved of showing anything past the rescue of him in Afghanistan in this teaser trailer.
Oh, yeah. So my note is, you know, so I have kind of some timestamps I wrote down. And so the logo at 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the teaser trailer, which is kind of a long teaser trailer. And then because you get another shot after the logo. But at 1:33, I have a note. This is basically a summary of the first act.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I just imagine it's like they just put the whole first act in a quick outline. Mm-hmm. Which, again, early on, it's hit or miss, maybe, but it's kind of smart because you're getting to introduce people or an audience to a character that's clearly a superhero character, but it's not as much of a name as other characters.
Yeah, that was a good point about the length of it, because most times I think teaser trailers are kind of like that 1:20 or under.
Right.
And like you said, this went into 2 minute plus. Another thing that I kind of found, I don't know if shocking is the right word, but I think it might be just a sign of the times of when it came out, is it shows how much further we've come since 2008 with the way trailers are made, because there's almost between the two of them this feeling of hyperactivity, of like quick cut, and it's like trying to jam in as much as it can.
Oh, yeah.
Like even the teaser trailer, it opens up with the car kind of like drifting into frame. And it's like, what do you say about being called the Da Vinci of our time? What about the Merchant of Death? And it's just like all these quick action shots. I was like, man, this doesn't feel like anything that I'm used to in the MCU.
No. It is very different. Very different. In terms of trailer, you know, and in fairness, and we talked a little bit about this in our trailers episode, right? Where when you get into the phase 2, phase 3, their style of trailer cutting is very different. But they're accounting for many other things where this is early on, you know, but it could be, I mean, Marvel's had an impact on this, and we talked about that. But you see in the industry, just what you do with the trailer and action movies has changed over the years.
Yeah, it seems like we've come to this point where things can feel a little bit more cohesive in their trailers without giving too much away.
Now, I will say in the main trailer itself, I do have a note, which I find interesting, whereas the teaser trailer felt like a rough outline of the first act.
Uh-huh.
The main trailer number 1, felt like a rough outline of the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to go so far as to say that I feel like I saw the movie through the trailer, but I definitely, like it, everything is there.
You get you get pivotal scenes, I think, from each section of the movie. Like you have the capture in Afghanistan, the flying with the jets, the fight with Obadiah and the final suit. Yeah, I mean, it is like
you get the suit up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might go out there with a little further and say I do feel like you kind of do come away seeing everything in the movie.
Yeah.
And,
well, I mean, you come away, but I don't know if I felt like, oh, I don't need to see the movie now.
Right. That's...
You know, just because of that fast-paced cutting you're talking about that still happens here, it's just thrown at you so quickly, you know, that I don't know if it's like, oh, I've seen everything.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was just coming into this, like, how much of this quasi-disappointment is because I have seen the movie, so I can rearrange everything in the chronological order that I know the movie to be, whereas when I saw it for the first time, having not seen the movie, how I felt, it felt like, you know, I've seen everything. Like, that's always kind of hard for me to go back and retroactively judge.
Yeah, no, and I think it is, especially when you consider how long ago this movie came out and we're doing this episode. So let's say if we were doing this on Endgame, you know, and watching that trailer, it would be a very much different experience because we were in a different headspace when we watched the Endgame trailer. You know, so I do think it's fair to say, well, it's hard to go back and judge.
Yeah, which is why I think it'll make it fun doing all these trailer episodes attached to the full movie discussions as we progress through the different eras of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, and now having said that, I'm it's kind of weird. I'm looking forward to doing the other individual trailer bonus episodes, just to see in more detail the changes in development. But this one, I'll be honest, I felt like I was watching, you know, the same trailer. It was like a director's cut or an extended cut of the teaser.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, like the full trailer was basically the extended cut of the teaser trailer, the Zack Snyder cut.
Yes, it was the Snyder cut. In this case, maybe the Favreau cut.
So yeah, that's going to do it for our quick little bonus episode on the movie trailers for Iron Man, which I'm looking forward to doing this across all the MCU spectrum. But, you know, we want to hear from you. So if you'd like to reach us at MCU Need to Know on Twitter or Instagram, tag us or tweet at us your favorite trailers, and we'd love to have a discussion as well.
Right, and if you're ready for more content, just same feed and check out our Iron Man review and a lot of other episodes.
All right, we'll see you over on the full episode.
All right, see you there.
Bye. So after the I'm Trey, I'm Jude, do you want to set it up since normally you're the one to ask how you doing?
I can.
Okay. Cool.
And then you come in and like bowling, like I'll knock some pins down and whatever I leave up, you come clean it up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I expected a better response from my bowling analogy, but okay, whatever.
No, that was good. That was good. I think I was already. Are we sure we don't want to do in-text? I was already like trying to gear myself on how to set it. Yeah, that was a good analogy. I'm sorry.
No, I just
listen. I watched a video from you this week. What more do you want from me?
We might have to do an in tag.
It definitely. I think we do.
Okay, change your plans. This episode has an in tag.
Oh man. Okay.